Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Be Perfectly Blended. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if this is your first time, thanks so much for clicking on. In today's video, I have got a lot going on. I am preparing for a Sunday/birthday dinner at my house. So I am continuing to do a lot of prep work. In my last video, if you saw that, I did a lot of cleaning of my home, just fine-tuning and things like that, getting ready in anticipation for family coming over for Sunday's dinner. So now it is Saturday. It is go time, no doubt about it. I've done a lot of the cleaning. 2 rooms I have left are my bathrooms and just a little straightening up, and then the kitchen. So I'm starting in the kitchen. Here, I did the dishes real quick, and now I am wiping down my kitchen cabinets. I am just using a little Dawn, the spray Dawn, some water on my cloth, and giving them a good scrub down, especially where the fingerprints and stickiness kind of accumulates here on the corners of the cabinets. And then I will go back with a cloth and make sure they're dry. And sometimes I will take wood oil when I feel like they need a real good shine. But in this case, I'm just going to go in with some Pledge once I'm done getting all the grime off of my cupboards. And I'm going to go in with the Pledge and spray them down and give them a nice polish. I want to say I probably wipe down my cabinets like this once every 3 months or so. And like I said, sometimes I'll go in with like a conditioner, even though I know that these aren't solid wood. The conditioner gives it a nice shine. But it is funny how much I notice the smudge or fingerprints, if you will, that build up on the corners more now that I actually go back and edit my videos, because you can actually see it a little darkening here or there as the camera shows versus in person. So I might need to up it to about every 2 months, especially the cabinets closest to my stove. But anyways, now that I've got them all wiped down in my drawers as well, I'm just going back with Pledge and giving them a nice shine. Yeah. Let me know in the comments, how often do you clean your cabinets? And I'm also curious about painting them. I've always thought about painting them, but then I'm wondering I probably have to wipe them down more than I do now. But yeah, leave a comment down below and let me know, how often do you go through and wipe down all your cabinets? Moving on to my appliances, I am just using a stainless steel cleaner, and I'm just wiping them down, giving them a good shine. Of course, I'm going to wipe down the refrigerator. Today is Saturday, so I will go back tomorrow and wipe any fingerprints or extra spots if I need to. So here's how my kitchen's looking. Dishes are still soaking. I did switch out my towels here, put my fall Gigi towels, thankful towels, and took out the Halloween ones. Now I'm going to move on to the bathroom. I do need to clean both bathrooms, my downstairs and upstairs bathroom. So I'm starting here downstairs. This bathroom's not used very much, really just mainly the toilet. But I'm going to go ahead and spray down the shower bathtub and let that sit for a little while. I went ahead and put some cleaner, toilet bowl cleaner in the toilet bowl, sprayed a little bleach, and I'm going to let that sit. Hi, son. He popped in real quick. And so while that is sitting and doing its thing, I'm over here just wiping down the mirror and cleaning the vanity real quick. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use some bleach, spray down the toilet, and then I'll go ahead and give that a good wipe before I go in with the brush and scrub out the toilet bowl. To me, this is like the hardest part, or the part I dislike the most about cleaning the bathroom. Of course, as does probably everybody else, but really getting back here in the nooks and crannies, especially when you have a bunch of boys, It's just not glamorous, but it's very necessary, especially to get on the back side of your toilet bowl and all that. So now that that's done, I'm just scrubbing out the toilet, and then I like to let my brush sit and drip dry a little bit before I put it back in its holder. And now, while that's drip drying, I've moved on to my shower bath combo here. Again, I just sprayed it down and I'm just giving it a wipe down. I am leaning on this cloth here just in case there's some bleach on the side of the bathtub so it doesn't get on my outfit. And yeah, feeling pretty good about it. I'm just going to put a little spray inside the toilet and let it just sit there till the next person uses it. And then the same rag that I was leaning against, I just put a little antibacterial spray on the floor and just use that rag. And I am literally just wiping the floor by hand, wiping my way out of the bathroom. And yeah, looks nice, smells nice. I'm just going to put some paper towels in instead of a hand towel. And now I am upstairs in the main bathroom. And this will be the bathroom that, of course, the company will use when they're upstairs. So, again, I'm just starting with the mirror and the vanity and giving all of that a quick wipe down. Of course, I'm going to do the same routine as I did in the downstairs bathroom. So I'm spraying my shower bath here, and I'm going to let that set and do its thing. And while that is doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and clean the toilet. I did decide to use Comet this time for the upstairs toilet. So I scrubbed it out with the Comet. I'm letting the brush drip dry there for a minute, and I sprayed bleach around the outside of the toilet. And now going in our favorite part and getting all the nooks and crannies, cleaning around the base. Now I'm back into the shower bath here, and I really didn't have to do a lot, just kind of give a wipe down because I did clean out the shower and I did wipe the floor 2 days ago and do the rugs. So I won't need to clean the floor today, and I just kept the rugs out until now before company's coming, and I put the rugs in so that they'd be nice and fresh. So this is how the bathroom's looking. I put a fresh hand towel in, also made sure that the toilet paper was stocked, and now we're moving on to decorations. I do have a machine that blows up the balloons, but I couldn't find it. So I went ahead and did it the good old-fashioned way. Luckily, this set of decorations didn't come with a whole lot of balloons, so I wasn't going to do a balloon arch. But you'll see I did have a few struggles here, but I was able to get them blown up. And then what I did is just took the ribbon and tied it around. And then I just took the balloons and taped them to the ceiling like this versus a balloon arch. My children are 20 and 26 for whom I'm having the birthday dinner, Sunday dinner for. So this type of decoration, not too much, worked out well. I liked it, the color scheme and the birthday banner. And then, of course, I had to find the sparkly table cover. And yeah, that's what it was looking like. My grandson stayed the night, so that was a lot of fun. And here we are the next morning. So I am getting ready to prepare all of the food. So it is morning and I am in my pajamas. I thought I would be changing sooner than later, but as you'll see through the video, I will be in my pajamas the whole time I cook. So I apologize ahead of time. I did get ready before company came, but yeah. Anyways, so I am making our family dip, which is super easy. It is literally cottage cheese. You can add a little bit of cream cheese or sour cream if you feel like it, but we basically do cottage cheese. We blend it up and add seasoning salt to taste. And then you put it in the fridge, let it chill, and you just use regular ruffled potato chips. So good. And then I put together a little veggie tray, and now I'm moving on to deviled eggs. Moving on to my deviled eggs. Once my eggs are boiled, I do put them in an ice bath to cool. And then when they're ready, I just put them on the counter. This is how my mom used to do it, and roll it back and forth a couple times till you hear the shells crack, and then you can just peel them right off. Typically, it comes off pretty easy, so that's how I peel my hard-boiled eggs. And once I get them all peeled, I give them a quick rinse, and then I just slice them in half, putting the center of the egg yolk into a bowl. And then I do have my little platter here, so I'm just setting the white parts of the eggs along there. And then to make my mixture that's going to fill my deviled eggs, I add mayonnaise, and I actually went back and added a little more than that. And then mustard. I will add some pepper and some salt, a little bit of garlic and a little bit of onion powder, and then a little bit of juice from the pickles. But what I add now is a little bit of grated onion. And I got this about 3 years ago from a channel. She's in her apron, and she literally, she does it on the side that's very, very fine. So it's more so the juice with just very thinly, finely sliced pieces of onion, not too much. And then I mix it all together, stick it in the baggie here, cut the corner, and fill in the eggs. Top it off with a little paprika, and there we go. This right here is all new territory for me. This is Impossible burger meat, and that's what is also in the skillet. So my brother is coming to dinner, and he does not eat meat, so I did season up very, very well this right here to make his 2 patties for his hamburgers. And then I also seasoned it up very well in the skillet, because that will be what will go into my baked beans instead of hamburger meat. So now I'm moving on to some chicken legs that I'm going to put in the oven with barbecue sauce, but I'm doing it in a way where the barbecue sauce will end up being sticky versus saucy. So I'm starting out by putting all the seasonings I want on my chicken legs. So you put all the seasonings you want on yours into the baggie. My chicken legs have already been rinsed and pat dry. I add them in, shake them up, and then I'm going to put them on the rack here, and I'm going to put them in for 20 minutes at 375. So I just have a rack on a cookie sheet. And while that is in, I'm going to start my mac and cheese. I do like to boil my noodles when I can in chicken broth. So I do have my pot here filled with water, but I also added chicken broth. And then on my back burner back here, I have had my smoked turkey wing. I put that on about an hour ago. Okay. So don't forget to put that on if you are using one. You want to put it on early so it has enough time to pull the meat off. I took a little bit of that broth and poured it in so that when I boil my noodles, that will be what is in the water. Now I've taken the chicken out, and I'm just turning it over. Season it if you need to season it a little more, and put it back in 375 for about another 15 minutes or so. And while that's in the oven, I'm going to move on to the cheese here, just grating up. I have sharp cheddar cheese and regular cheddar cheese. And then I also pre-cut my butter so that I can just grab it as I need it. Once my water's boiling, I'll add my noodles in, and I cook them to al dente, which is normally about 7-8 minutes at the most. I am also going to be making a cheese sauce. So I've done mac and cheese with a cheese sauce and without a cheese sauce. This time I am going to make a cheese sauce. So I feel like I move very fast in this process. That's why I like to have all the cheese ready, my milk out. I am using some heavy whipping cream as well, but you don't have to. You can use milk. But I like to have everything out and ready when I get ready to put my mac and cheese together, because I feel like you gotta move it while it's still hot, the noodles and things. Now my chicken is ready to have the barbecue sauce put on it, and I just take barbecue sauce. I do add some extra seasoning, and it's Chipotle barbecue sauce along with some brown sugar, and I just mix it all together with some butter as well and coat my chicken legs. And then you're going to put the chicken legs back in for another 15 minutes, 375. Now I am back moving on to my mac and cheese. I do put butter pats in the bottom there of the tray. And now I am starting my sauce here. And I put butter in the pan. I add my flour. You just want to mix it together so you get that flour taste out. This is also what's going to thicken up for your roux. And then slowly just whisk your milk in. You're not in a rush here. You just want to take your time. It'll begin to thicken, and you can add some more milk if you need to. You can also use heavy whipping cream, which is what I'm using right now. And I am just continuing to stir and add my milk as I need to so that it becomes the amount that I want. Now, this is where I feel it starts to move fast. I drained my noodles, and now I'm adding butter and sour cream and a little bit of milk just directly into the noodles and stirring that all together so that the noodles are all kind of coated. And then I'm going to move back over here to my cheese sauce and make sure I'm stirring it. And then adding some seasoning as well to my noodles. Just the typical garlic and onion powder, not a whole lot, but I do add some table salt and pepper. And now I'm going to go ahead and put cheese just directly onto my noodles and stir it together. This is what I mean by moving while your noodles are still hot, because they will naturally melt the cheese. I also did add the Parmesan cheese. I learned that a few years ago. If you use a little Parmesan cheese, it helps to really make that creamy consistency. Otherwise, I do have cheddar, sharp cheddar, and Colby Jack as well. So now I've added some of my grated sharp cheddar to my cheese sauce, and you are just whisking it in. Take your time. If it gets a little thick, go ahead and add a little milk. I'm also adding some of the Parmesan cheese to the cheese sauce as well, along with some seasoning, some salt and pepper, and just continuing to mix, adding some more Parmesan cheese. Once my noodles have been all mixed, everything's been mixed together, I go ahead and just lay them out in the pan here. I need to make a big, huge pan of mac and cheese, as you can tell. So once I get those all spread out, I go ahead and add a little seasoning as well to season the noodles. Then I like to top the noodles off with some cheese. So I just spread a little cheese around. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my cheese sauce and pour it directly over the top. You want to test it, make sure it can pull like that is nice and creamy. And yeah, just spread it over, mix the noodles all together so all the noodles are coated in the yummy cheese sauce. And then your noodles should be al dente, so they should be all right. They shouldn't be soft, but you definitely want to be careful as you're moving them all around. And then I top it off with some more shredded cheese, some pats of butter, and then I'm going to put it in the oven, 375, and that's the cheese I will put on top. Look at my chicken legs. They look and smell so yummy. And look at me cleaning as I go, trying to get everything wiped down. I'm trying to keep the mess on the countertops at a minimal. Now I'm getting ready to fry the chicken wings, and then on the back in the pot back there on my back burner, I have some water going. I'm adding a little bit of chicken broth along with some of the broth from the smoked turkey wing that is basically almost done. So I'm going to take the meat off of that. And in that pot is where I'm going to boil my potatoes for my mashed potatoes. Now for my chicken wings, I just went ahead and I'm using a wet coating. So I used some mustard, put some flour in, and then I went ahead and did the seasoning, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of Slap Your Mama, a little bit of like our Nashville seasoning. But yeah, just whatever seasonings you want to use. Here's what it's looking like. So I got those frying up. Mac and cheese is looking good. And then my potato water is almost ready. Here is what my baked beans are looking like. The greens, I just took the meat off the bone there and mixed it in with the greens, and then just pop that in the oven. It'll warm up. You really don't even have to add a little seasoning, but I do. I add a little bit of Slap Your Mama and a little bit of onion and garlic powder to my greens, but other than that, they are good to go. You saw me drain my potatoes there, and of course add butter. My husband came in behind me, so super sweet, to do the dishes, so he's behind me doing that. I also add some sour cream and milk And then I am just using my hand mixer, mixing it all together. And then I will continue to add butter and salt and pepper to taste. I do not like a bland mashed potato. I like my mashed potato to have flavoring, but I don't like it to be over flavored, like with garlic, if it's not a dinner that is with a garlic mashed potatoes. So just season to taste. I also did add a little whipping cream to make it a little more creamy, but of course you don't need that. You can just add milk. And then I add a little more butter and just continue to mix it till it's exactly how I want it. And yeah, we're good to go. Here is what the chicken is looking like so far. Yummy. I got my hamburger patties ready to go on the grill. I'm going to go ahead and cut up the lettuce. My corn is going. I've got onion sauteing for the burgers, and everything else is staying warm in the oven. Here is how it all turned out. It turned out so good. I put all the meat here in that tray. My mom went ahead and brought the birthday cake. I have the corn in the back with butter and seasoning, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, baked beans, greens, deviled eggs. My husband finally got to eat. He was so hungry. But yeah, it all turned out so good. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. We had such a good time just hanging out. Like I said, my brother, my niece, and his wife are here from Finland. I want to thank you so much for coming along with me today. If you didn't see my previous video, go back and look at that. I did a lot of cleaning and prepping in anticipation for this Sunday dinner and family and friends coming over to the house. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Thanks so much for coming along, and I hope to see you in the next one.